Now when you come here to the corner of the house, looks like it was in July 16th, 1965. There's Jeannie's concrete. Her handprint's in there, you can barely see it. And this is Rick's. You slide over to Tommy, you can see my hand, 65. On over to Kathy. She has her footprint and hand in it. And Barbara Kay, her hand's on the left side, and foot there to the right. And this one is, must be Robbie. Yeah, it's Rob's, Robert Jr. See his little handprint there. And then this one, looks like it's just an extra one, Bob and Wanda. Gotcha, Bob and Wanda, July 16, 1965. That's when we poured the concrete out front for the recording right now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's taping now. Well, I never knew we could do that. Sitting on the old porch.
Now you're not recording now.
When that light's on right there, it's recording.
Is it
So we're on
recording
right
now?
now. Yeah, we're on right now. I can't believe how I got the picture where it flipped. We can actually watch and see what we're doing. I know when it's recording and when it's not. Just hit the old pause on it. Pretty slick. A lot of traffic though, Dad.
Oh yeah.
A lot of traffic. Finally the mowers have quit, at least for a little bit. We did pretty good today though, didn't we?
Oh yeah.
Mowed a little
Yeah.
bit. Got it all done.
Yeah.
And how, and you know I messed up and lost, maybe lost that tape. So that's why I was going to try to ask you, once again, I don't know where's the best place to start. Where's a good place to start? Talking about anything. The homestead, is that where you lived over in Charleston though first, though, didn't you? Your first memories.
Born and raised in South Charleston.
In South Charleston?
Yep.
Well, what was all the story?
Yeah.
I remember you jumping on the train cars and stuff and getting coal off and stuff.
Well,
that was up in Charleston, wasn't it? Or was that
no, that was just right above Patrick Street Bridge there. That was still, well, they call it Vandalia.
Yeah.
But I think it was in South Charleston city limits. We lived there 3 or 4 years.
So, how old were you at that time? You remember?
I must have been about 14,
Really?
15.
So where'd you live before that?
Down below Patrick Street Bridge,
In
what they called the bottom.
the bottom. Is that like...
Bonimont.
Okay. Right down on the river? Close to the river?
Well, yeah.
On the river area, not up on one of the hills?
No, it was,
And you lived there how long? Till you were 14, as far as you know? Or you've always been in South Charleston, right?
no, we moved from South Charleston to Clay Avenue over in West Charleston. And then no, take it back. We moved over on Madison Avenue in West Charleston.
Yeah.
Then from Madison Avenue, we moved to Clay Avenue. And then from Clay Avenue, we moved to Bonimont. That's in the bottom, below Patrick Street Bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Then from there, we moved to Vandalia. That was up on the hill.
That's when you were 14?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then from there, we moved out here on the farm.
How long did you live at when you...
Yeah.
How long were you down there when you were 14?
Now, wait a minute.
3 years, 4 years?
Wait a minute. From Vandalia, we moved back here behind where we live now.
Okay.
And
Out on the back area?
back on the back area, back here. We was out there for about 6 or 8 months, and we moved from there out Sissonville Road,
And then back out here?
up a little holler out there they called Cobb Holler.
Yeah.
It was about a quarter of a mile long, and it was a nice place, nice area. And then from there, that's where I got a job on the pipeline.
Before Carbide?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I went to Westfield, Pennsylvania with them when we got our contract in finished up.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, they wanted me to go with them to 100 West Virginia to do a job.
Pipe fitter people. Pipe people.
Pipeline.
Yeah, pipeline.
And I decided, well, I'd come on home. They was painting such a pretty picture of this farm over here.
Yeah. And it was lovely though, wasn't it? Or didn't it? It was really
Yeah,
all right.
it was pretty nice. It just,
You had
if you'd had a
electricity.
four-wheel drive Jeep, if you'd had one of them,
It had been no problem.
in the wintertime, wouldn't have been much of a problem.
All right, and what kind of livestock did you have on the farm?
We had a team of horses, had a cow, hog or two, chickens.
Now, the story of the cow coming in the house during the winter, is that true?
That's true.
Did you just bring it in
I
any particular?
don't know where I was at, or
You just knew they brought
I
the
just
cow
know
in?
that, people told us about it. That was my brother. He'd do anything.
That's Brother Dick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how old was he when y'all moved to the farm? Close to it. You were what, 16 when you moved to the farm?
He must have been, well, let's see, I'm trying to think. I went to work on the pipeline, see, when I was real early.
Real young.
Real young, rather. And when I was 16, I tried to get on the carbide, and I was on the farm then. This was after I'd finished up on the pipeline, and they quit hiring at 16. I had to wait another year till I was 17. Well, when I waited till I was 17, then I went up and I went to work. And so
Then you were drafted after
that
that.
was in 1945.
Now, the
and
war
then-
was over, so that was good, or close to being
Yeah,
over.
it was close to being over. Then, in 1950, December of 1950, I got drafted. I was right on top of the totem pole.
Now, we
That's
talked,
when Truman called a national emergency.
and that was for Korea,
That was for Korea.
so you didn't actually have to go to
No,
serve in
no,
Korea.
I didn't go to Korea.
Missed that one.
I missed that. I went to Germany instead.
All right, now, we talked about your love for riding on boats last night, just a
Yeah.
little bit. You loved going over there on that boat, didn't you, over to Germany?
No, no.
What?
I didn't care that much for it.
How long did it take you to get there? You told me last night.
Seemed like we was on the water about 14 days altogether.
And,
But we hit a lot of rough weather and had to go around some storms and everything.
and you didn't get sick, though.
Oh, no.
It was
No, I-
everybody around you got sick, a
Yeah.
lot of people.
Oh, well,
Those food habits you were telling me about,
Yeah.
that's pretty interesting.
yeah.
And then you stayed over there. How long were you in the Army then?
Okay,
2 years?
I was lucky, very, very
Wait a
lucky.
minute, wait a minute. For your training, you went to where? Where'd you go?
Most of all my training was right here, Camp Polk, Louisiana.
Camp Polk. And you went there by train, didn't you?
Yeah.
Fast train, wasn't it? Made it all the way there. And...
No, it wasn't no fast train.
Oh.
No.
What about that train? Stopped about everywhere?
Yeah, about every 15 miles, I think it stopped. We had about an hour layover.
Yeah.
And it was a big troop train out of Camp Kilmer, New Jersey.
Loaded up.
Loaded up.
And you were in basic training for what?
So we went
6
down there,
weeks?
we got down there, I was drafted December the 21st, 1950. And probably along about March of 52 is when we packed up our guns and went overseas to Germany. So we hit
Really?
it lucky. It was that late.
In
So-
52, so you were in the service 2 years?
Yeah.
Before
So
you
we-
even went to
So
that?
we was over there just long enough to take a couple furloughs and go to Paris, France, and Holland.
Yeah, do a little touring around.
Yeah.
And I remember the wood shoes. You don't still have
Yeah.
those anywhere, do you?
Barbara's got them.
Barbara's got them? I remember those running around the house in those.
And,
So you got to tour, how long were you over Germany way? 6,
April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, about 8 months.
8 months, then you're back.
Just long enough to see the country and,
And then you were discharged after that, right?
yep.
And that's when you really focused in at Carbide, right?
Yeah, we come back to, well, see, I was employed with Carbide before I went in.
Oh, that's right. You started at 17. At
So
Carbide.
I got discharged on the, 20, I believe it was the 21st day of December, that's, yeah,
Right before
of 52.
Christmas.
Right before Christmas. And when I came back, I thought, well, I just as well get in the swing of things. They know used to run around. And
That's when you bought a Jeep,
so
too,
I,
huh?
no,
Nope.
I went right straight to the plant. And this was on the 24th day of December,
Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve. And Bill Turner told me that I had 90 days.
Just for
Just,
having fun.
yeah, before I had to report back to work.
Still, well, you weren't
And
paid, though, were you? Were you paid? At
No,
90 days?
I stayed. I told them, I said, I just want to get back to work.
Right.
In the groove of thing. So I went back to work on the 26th.
So you got
Day after
discharged on the 20th,
On the 21st,
21st, and working on the 26th.
and I went to the plant on the
Day after
24th,
Christmas.
yeah,
Lined it up, went to work after Christmas.
day after Christmas.
And how'd you get back and forth from work
Um,
to the farm over here?
let's see. Walk.
Let's see, walking. How long did it take you to go? I mean, how far would it be?
It was about 3.5 miles.
And you'd walk it in and walk it back.
Walk it in, walk out.
8-hour, 10-hour days? What were you
That's
working?
right. We was working, well, it was 8-hour day. but
8-hour day, still.
6-day week of.
And when did you finally buy the Jeep?
Probably about, I'd say about 2.5 years after I went back to work.
Okay.
I know it was a little over 2 years.
And then, you know, the house that we're in now, that you're in right here, what year was that when you came here?
Probably about the first time I came over here was in, let's see, I'd say about,
53, 54?
oh no. No, see, I went in the Army when we was living here.
Oh, okay. Oh, here. So
Yeah.
you were in this house.
Yeah.
And this had a store in the front of it,
I had a
right?
store in there in the living room, yeah.
So everything in the house except the porches was here? Or no?
Yeah,
Pretty much?
yeah.
And it was an open porch on the
It was an
front?
open porch, yeah.
All right.
And so the first time I was over here was probably about 1948.
48.
Got acquainted with Raymond Lay. Found out that there was a store over here.
Yeah.
And so I come over here quite often. And then he told me he was going to sell it. I asked him what he wanted for it, and he told me. And then he wanted to sell me 29 acres back here behind us.
Yeah. How much for? He was going to sell for
He
how
had
much?
29 acres back there, and I said, well, Raymond, what do you take for it? And he said, well, I'll let you have it for $500. I said, oh, that's too much money. I couldn't afford that. Now
That
you go
still
back-
is a lot of money, but how many houses are back there now?
Oh, I don't know, 30, 35, well, 30 houses, big nice homes back there. Dr. Gano back here, he got about a $600,000 home.
I haven't seen that one, have
You
I?
haven't?
I don't think so. I need to go look at that one. So $500 you didn't have then.
No, that was a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
That was a lot of money. My take home pay for 6 days was $32.
Take home.
Take home pay.
How much was a gallon of milk back then, though?
Oh, probably about 15 cents.
Really?
No, I don't know just what it was, a gallon.
Pretty good, though.
But it was probably about a quarter a gallon or something.
So when you lived, you went to Spring Hill, South Charleston Junior High School, that's where you went to school, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And then South Charleston High School,
Yep.
and so let's see, you finished going to school, you had to drop to work, didn't you? Had to drop out of school to work after.
Oh, yeah.
And did Dick ever finish? Did Dick and Dolores finish school?
No.
They didn't? I didn't know if they did or not. I never heard that or not.
I
But
tried to get Dick to go take that,
GED?
yeah, but he didn't do it.
Because you did that.
Oh, yeah, I did
Oh,
it.
yeah. And then you worked carbide till 88?
87,
87.
42 years.
That's incredible. It's big for me. And then, let's see. What else did we talk about that one time?
Yeah.
Having the kids when we were all, talked about Jeannie getting on falling out of the truck at one time.
Yeah.
And, how old was she then? She was what?
Jenny wasn't more than
7, 8 years old?
about 8 years old, 7 or 8 years old.
And just fell out of the truck.
Yeah. Yeah, we had just stopped the...
What truck was that?
That was at that old Ford that had the telephone on the dash.
There's a horn. Beep,
Yeah.
beep, 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 beep.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that truck.
Yeah. Yeah, we had stopped at the Kroger store, and we had 3 or 4 bags of groceries in there. And back in, there was a one-lane bridge right there where the state police headquarters at.
Right.
Only back toward 60 there a little more.
Right.
You remember it, don't you?
I remember that.
Okay, you
I
had to
remember
stay.
that
If there's a car coming towards you, you had to pull off the side there and wait.
and wait for him to get by.
Yeah, so that's what I did that evening. And then as soon as he got by, well, then I took him on across the bridge. And after I got over on the other side of the bridge, I had to get over to the right a little bit to let
Another truck.
another car come across toward me. Because back then, they didn't fix them chug holes along the side of the road. You'd hit a puddle of water, and you'd think it was just a little puddle of water.
But it would be
That thing will be 2 foot deep.
deep.
Well, that's what happened there. And when I hit that water, it was a big chug hole. Jeannie went up in the air and come down. And when she did, she pushed down on the old-timey handle
The
latch.
handle that latched.
And out she went in that big puddle of water with them groceries right on top of her.
All the food went too.
Yeah. So I got out real quick and grabbed her, checked her to see if she had any broken bones about her. And I was going to take her down to the emergency room and get her checked. But she said, Daddy, I'm all right, I'm all right. And her face was full of cinders where her face had hit it. And
Y'all had to clean those out.
yeah.
All right, now if you think of Rick, now I'm catching you off guard on these, but is there a story about Rick when he was young or as old as he is now, you know, something you could think of living on the ridge? Is there anything about Rick you remember? Think of the other kids too, like me. That's scary. I remember the switching though. I mean, you know, I was real good at, I guess, starting the crying before.
No, your kid was all pretty good. I
Or were
mean,
we
you got a
good?
little switching once in a
We
while,
were good.
but no.
Not bad. All right, so Rick, any fun things? How about getting the tree? Didn't he go with you to get that tree that we've had here in the front yard?
Oh yeah, we went out and we looked.
I don't remember. I didn't go. Did I go with you on that one?
No, just he and I.
Okay, so
We-
that's a good story.
We went out, took off and went out behind Granny Smith's place. But remember the old pond back there under the
Right,
hill?
right.
We went around to that pond and we come back and come through the woods and come up that old haul road.
Right.
And when we couldn't see nothing that had any shape to it, and finally we got up to the main road, and there was a sugar growing sort of out of the bank, and it was pretty straight. I mean, it was growing at an angle, instead of the tree itself was pretty straight. And so Rick and I, we got a hold of it and grabbed it and pulled it out with the roots, and we brought it around and set it out.
That was the one you put right
And
there.
that's the one we put right there. And it was there all them years. Finally,
Gave it up.
disease hit it, and
Yeah.
we had to take it down.
Yeah. All right, me. Anything?
About you,
Oh boy.
where you went to the top of the tree and couldn't get down, and Dorothy had to,
Dorothy had to come get.
come get you
That
and
was
get
a
you
maple.
down.
That was that maple tree out here, or whatever kind it was.
Yeah.
I remember that tree. It had the top of it was cut out or broke out or something when it was little, and we had. It was like we made that our pilot area when we were flying our plane.
Yeah.
And I guess I got caught in the clouds. I don't know. And then Kathy. Anything about Kathy? Story-wise?
No, just that she you guys was playing ball out here in the front yard there one evening, and she got hurt. Somebody swung a board and hit her below the eye there somewhere.
Oh, that's where she got those stitches, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I remember that.
I
I may have been the
remember.
one that swung the stick. I'm not sure.
And whenever
We used to play house out there as well.
whenever you guys would get punished for not cleaning the yard or
Police in the yard now.
policing the yard,
That's what we called it.
Yeah.
Policing the yard.
you'd get a little switching. Kathy, then she'd cry when she,
Oh, yeah.
you guys would scream bloody murder. And she,
And
I think
she'd
it's
cry. It'd scare her.
more than
Yeah.
anything else.
How about Barbara and Rob? Anything about them?
Oh, yeah.
I remember Rob's first day of school. I even remember that
Oh,
myself.
yeah, I had a time with him.
We
He was
skipped
not
Barbara for a
going.
second, but he was not going to go.
He was
he?
not going to go to school.
Something about the ridge.
He
Something about
was
school.
not going to go to school.
Oh, man. I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that. That was traumatic for me.
Yeah, he was not going to go to school, buddy, I'll
Yeah.
tell you.
And then Barbara, how about when she was sick when she was little? Was there anything about that you remember? Didn't she have the rubella or
She had that roseola.
roseola? That's
Yeah,
it.
one time. She's sick.
And how old was she for that? Do you remember?
She wasn't more than 2 years old.
2 years old or
She was
something?
just a little thing, yeah.
All right, if you think favorite vacation.
Oh,
Think family vacation
Oh.
with us just a second.
Oh.
All right.
you seen the Beverly Hillbillies, man, you going down the road?
Would that be us?
That was us.
wasn't it? I remember going to camp meeting and we had that red and white Ford pickup truck and had that topper on it. Mom would load us up, drive us to Parkersburg for camp meeting, and you, of course, were working. How many days of work did you ever miss?
Out of that 42 years, I'd say that I never missed over probably about 8 days. something
8
like that.
days, that's it.
Yeah.
It's a lot like our work ethic today. All right, now, okay, so give me a favorite vacation. Do you remember? Now, I remember starting off with Jeannie in the Colony Park
Well, the
wagon.
favorite one was down Daytona Beach.
Now, wait a minute. Is that when you were watching the ships with the binoculars?
Yeah. I forgot about that.
I remember
I
Dad.
forgot about that.
I'd see those binoculars down
What
on the
was that?
beach. Down on the beach, it'd be like this. Whoa, there's a good ship. Looking at.
Who was that said,
That was a fun
said,
vacation.
Dad, the ship's not down there.
Yeah, I know.
Said the ship's
Ships are out in the water.
Who was that?
I don't know. Was it me? I don't know. It may have been me. I don't know.
It might have been.
It may have been. I don't remember. All right, that was fun. All right, now let's think.
Remember, I had to make you guys go to Disney World. You wasn't
Had
going.
to
You,
force
you
us,
didn't
didn't
want to go. You was acquainted with all them other kids there, and you always building those sand castles and all that stuff. And I said, no, we're going to Disney World.
We've driven to Florida. We're going to go to Disney
We
World.
went to Disney World. We got there about 9 or 9:30 when they opened up, and we was there until midnight that night when they started closing up.
Couldn't get us out of there.
Couldn't get you out of there.
We don't get off the ridge much. All right, now let's think of favorite military story. Anything about the military you remember? You know, we talked about going over on the boat, but anything that happened in training, anything that happened on the carrier, anything where you kind of block a lot of that.
No, there wasn't a lot.
Nothing.
That was all pretty serious. See, that was during the Berlin airlift,
Oh, okay. That was.
and we had to stay on alert all the time.
So there wasn't a lot of.
So there wasn't a lot of fun going on of any kind.
All right.
Only you get a furlough and you had time accumulated
Right.
and get to go to
Some
Paris. That
nice
was the
city or
biggest one.
something. Yeah.
We went to the top of the Eiffel Tower.
You did all that.
Yeah, we did that. And we went to Holland, and then we took the boat ride. It was there in Amsterdam, the city of, 500 bridges and 400 canals.
You went through that?
Well, we didn't go all of it.
Not all
A few of it.
Furloughs are just so long.
Yeah.
You know? All right, let's see. I'm trying to think of any particular thing. All right, now you went hunting with Pawpaw quite a bit. Give me a good hunting story with Pawpaw. Surely you got one in there. I remember you telling me several, but good hunting story.
About the best one was the time we went out to Kenna, and we started back in Roane County through that area. And there was a frost on the ground. It looked like a light snow. And after we got out there so far, Pawpaw said, well, let me get up in the back of the truck. And I thought, well, what you want up in the back of the truck for? And he got up there, and boy, I'm telling you, he started shooting squirrels. I mean, rabbits.
Rabbits.
By the headlights, and if they'd have called us, they'd have
Put you in jail.
put us in jail and throw the key away. And we got out there, I don't know how many rabbits that he shot. And it wasn't quite daylight yet. And we got out there to Wilmer Fields' place. And so we sit in the truck there for a little bit. He said, well, do you think it's light enough now that you can see to shoot a rabbit? And I said, oh yeah. So we turned the dogs loose. And within 15 minutes, we must have done killed 3 or 4 rabbits. And running out of them brush piles and whatever. But anyway, we hunted all day long, and we had grouse, we had squirrel, we had the whole bed of that truck covered with game.
Really?
And I pulled in over at the service station there where I dealt in there, right across from Dunn's Hospital. And a fellow by the name of Joe Clevenstein owned it. And I asked him if he would like to have a rabbit or squirrel or something like that for supper. And he said, oh yeah. And he went out there and threw the cover back on that truck. He said, I said, if they had caught you guys, said they would have threw you in jail.
They have a limit?
Because we had went over our limit on everything. Pawpaw just had a field day that day.
Yeah.
But anything that jumped up in front of him,
He shot it.
he shot it.
Oh, man.
That was about the bit. Well, there was another time out there, time I seen the white squirrel. Look at them boys coming.
I know it. That's nuts. Coming down that hill on that skateboard with pulling on a motorcycle. Traffic's awful out here now. All right.
Yeah.
What else? What were you going to say?
I went up on the hill behind Wilmer's house. I went up the holler and up on the hill. And then Pawpaw and Wilmer went up on the other hill. On the other side, they went up there and took a horse. Well, I believe they had a horse with them. And to drag off 2 or 3 logs from an old barn that they was tearing down, for firewood.
Mm-hmm.
And I was sitting there, and all at once I seen this squirrel down over the hill. And it was a white one, buddy. That thing was white. And I said, I'm going to get that thing. And I put a bead on it, and it jumped up behind a big oak tree. And I never seen that squirrel. Never did see it again. And undoubtedly, it either went up, and there was a hole somewhere in that tree that I couldn't see, or either it went directly over the hill between me and the tree.
Right.
So straight down.
Never did see it.
I never did see it, and they just kidded me about seeing a big old white tomcat.
Uh-huh.
But that was a big old white squirrel. I really wanted that thing.
All right, now let's shift gears to blue jay. Just for fun, blue jay. Got to go blue jay. Anything about blue jay you remember? I know the nativity scene. That was one of the best
the only
ones.
thing I remember there was Pawpaw had a county spoiled for donuts and cigars. They liked to eat
Donuts?
them cigars and donuts.
Really? I didn't know about the donuts.
Oh yeah. He told the people there that was having the play there that night, said, now, I guess so it doesn't want to move or whatever, said, have you some donuts ready. He said, it'll follow you for them donuts. He said, it like cigars too, but you don't want to buy them. They cost too much, So they had some donuts there. But anyway, Rick, they had everything all rigged up. Rick was playing Joseph. The lights was all set just right. So they put Mary up on the donkey, and Rick, when he got the signal, he started in with Mary, in toward the manger. But Blue Jay
Didn't want
took
to
a stubborn spell. Didn't want to go. So Pawpaw was standing across the street, and so he started over. He said, well, I'll get him to move. So when Pawpaw got about halfway across the street, he was taking his bell down. And Blue Jay had to just turn his head and see him, you know. And boy, I'll tell you, Rick didn't have to give no jerk in. Old Mary just about hit the ground.
Mary lost it.
Yeah.
I thought he bumped one time, but he didn't, huh?
No,
No, it was
he
okay.
took off. Well, I mean,
They got to Bethlehem quick.
yeah, right, real quick. Because he knew Pawpaw was coming with that bell. Somebody slipped up on the donuts there somewhere or something.
Didn't have the donuts ready.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Then, how about horseshoes? Anything come to mind about pitching horseshoes? We pitched about all the time, if I remember right, in the evening.
We just had some wild horseshoe games. That's
Croquet.
about the size of that.
Nobody
Everybody cheated a little bit.
Everybody? Come on now.
Yeah, I think everybody did. Especially Bill White.
Oh, yeah.
I can still see him taking his foot and kicking that ball.
Now, I can, too. And look at you like, well, yeah, it went through.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's the problem? He'd have that big old wide-eyed look
Yeah.
on him. Big Cleveland Indian fan.
Oh, yeah.
Well, when we went up to Ohio one time, well, you know, we went up there lots. Was Jungle Larry up there?
We went to Jungle Larry's, yeah.
Was that in a park by itself? Or
Yeah,
was that
yeah, that was just a big park there by itself.
I
Remember
that.
taking the boat ride? And,
We have pictures of that somewhere.
oh, yeah, somewhere.
Yeah, I'm sure you was somewhere in Mom's stuff.
We all went up there one time on vacation, if you remember. Me and Pawpaw made the back for that truck, that cover for that picture.
The one we used, that one we used for camp meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all you kids,
We were a fine-looking group in there. No, wait a minute. We didn't all ride in that truck, though.
yes, we did.
No. I mean, all the kids and Mama and Papa. No, Mama and Papa didn't.
They wasn't with us.
Okay. It was the 8 of us
Yeah,
in a pickup truck
Yeah.
in the cover.
you 6 kids was in the
in
back.
the back. So you didn't let any of Rob. Maybe Rob rode up front.
Maybe he might
Could've
have, or
been.
maybe y'all might have switched around a little bit. Or
I don't remember anything negative about any of those trips, so I don't even remember doing it. But I'm sure it was Beverly Hillbilly-ish.
Yep, so you guys had all piled right in the back of that truck. Just had a ball in there.
And I remember going out to Mama Hayes's out in Lincoln County,
Yeah.
putting a lawn chair in each corner of the truck, the red and white truck. And Jeannie would wear a straw hat, so she'd look refined, I think. And then we would cruise out and take, what is that, 119? Head on out south.
Remember the time that we went over to Bucks in Indiana?
Now, I remember something
We took
about
Jeannie
that.
and
I remember something
Oral
about
Farrell's
that.
daughter,
Becky.
Becky.
Mhm.
We took him over to Kettering and let him out. And I was on a week's vacation. I said, well, where we want to go to from here? We decided, well,
Going to Bucks.
we'll go to Bucks. And
Now, he's your old Army buddy.
just before we left, though, we pulled into a service station there, and all 7 of you kids, Becky, you know,
Mm-hmm.
all 7 of you jumped out of the truck and heading for the restroom there in that little old service station there. This guy was just standing there just looking at him, and I could almost read his mind. There'd have been a bunch of hillbillies.
Hillbilly pile out of there.
Pile out there and go to the restroom, and then they all come back and pile back in the truck.
Now, that was we were in the truck for that one?
Yeah.
You sure?
Now, wait a minute, Tom. I may be wrong.
We may have been in a car then.
We may be
I
in a
seems like
car.
I remember
Yeah.
being in the Colony Park or
Yeah, I
maybe
believe
not
he
even
was.
Colony Park.
I believe he was.
But it was still,
And
8
yeah.
people climbing out of that car.
Remember, went on over to Bucks and got there about 6 o'clock that evening, and they didn't have air conditioning in their home. And boy, it was hot. It was having a heat wave. And,
I remember that.
And we left the next day when Buck left going to work, which was about 1:30, 2 o'clock. And that heat wave was still on. And remember the places that we had to go around, the concrete had buckled up that high.
I don't remember that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there was about 3 different places. And then we went on up through and went through Indianapolis. And your mother went in a big grocery store and got stuff for sandwiches and stuff to drink. And we went on up the road there a good ways, and we seen a place there to pull off, and And it wasn't a park, it was just a place where people pulled off maybe to put their trash in cans or something. We picked out a pretty nice place there to sit there and eat. And all these people was going back and forth in their cars and they was looking at us. You know, we kind of...
Where are they from?
We was kind of upset, you know, about... Them marches, they was having those marches down there in Selma, Alabama.
Oh, really?
At that time.
Okay.
And we would see what our plans was. We was going to drive to about 8 or 9 o'clock and get a motel. But we could not find one. Everywhere we went, it's no vacancy, no vacancy. But they had them up, and I've come to find out after I got back that the plant, the guy said, if you'd have just went up and asked for a room, you'd have got one. So they just wasn't...
Wouldn't let blacks in.
Wasn't letting blacks in.
Oh, my.
And so we just kept it going and going.
So that was
finally,
like
I got up to the
north,
about close to the northern part of Indiana, you know, and then I cut across at an angle and hit the Ohio Turnpike. And I even asked your mother there once. I woke her up. I said, "Can you drive for a while?" And she said, "Oh," I said, "I can't." That's the only time that she couldn't drive.
Couldn't drive for it.
She was too tired and too wore out and too sleepy. And so I just went in every truck stop I come to and got a cup of coffee. I'm telling you, I was so keyed up. And we got to where Bill and Ernestine lived. It was about 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. I said, well, we don't want to wake them up at this time of the morning. And if you remember, right down below the street from where they lived, there was a service station on one corner and a bowling alley on the other.
I remember the bowling alley because we used to go down there.
Okay, well, we pulled into the service station there, and you kids was all just sound asleep. So I sat there
So it was at least 5 of us.
till at least I thought it was about time for them to get up. And
What a trip.
So we went down to the house there, probably it was around 6 o'clock or 6:15 something, and they just getting up. Oh, they just got aggravated at us because we didn't come on down there and wake them up. I said, no, we didn't want to wake you up that time in the morning. So, and then believe it or not, it was too cold to go swimming that day out there in Lake Erie. Here we come through that heat wave.
All the heat wave, and it's too cold.
And then it was too cold up there to go swimming.
That works. All right, think of cold, thinking of weather. What was the worst weather condition you ever had on the ridge you remember?
Well,
Does anything come to mind?
the coldest was when Pawpaw and Mama lived out here in a trailer, I think.
They lived in the trailer down below?
Yeah.
Just
it was
a
way,
long...
left here one morning and it was way below zero. And that was the coldest. And there was another day that was almost as cold, but I was driving a Volkswagen and I wasn't getting enough heat there and I had to take my thumb and I just had to, right in front of my eyes, I just had to keep twisting my thumb till I had a place about that big around, about the size of a quarter to drive.
Which Volkswagen was that? Was that oldest one? That one Rick?
I think it was.
May have been.
But now the worst winter, let's see, which one could have been the worst?
And we used to get a lot of snow.
Oh, I know, but I'm talking about where you couldn't even get out of here.
That's probably when you missed work one time or two.
Yeah, well, I took a bank day the last time, so, you know, I didn't miss no work.
Right.
Let's see.
I remember looking...
Oh, that was it. That was the worst, because the first one was, I did make it out as far as the one-room school that morning. I was working 12-hour shifts of the night. And I did make it out to there. But the others, the worst one was the last one. That was, I forget what year that was. But anyway, I come out on the porch leaving. Your mother had been sick that night, and not real sick, but just sick of her stomach and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I got up and come into the kitchen, turn the lights on. And I always had a habit of turning the outside lights on, checking the temperature. And that morning I didn't do either one. I just went ahead and fixed me a bite of breakfast and fixed my lunch And about that time your mom got up, come in there, and I walked out on the porch, and I was leaving, and I heard somebody say, "Bob, you just will go back in, you're not going nowhere." And here was Jim hollering at me. And it was on Friday, and the snow was just practically level with the porch.
With this porch right here?
Yep.
And then, is that when it drifted real bad over there on that hill?
Yeah,
too?
yeah.
Because I almost
And
remember that.
yeah, that happened, that was on Friday morning. And so I had to,
That's
I called
a
in
bank day.
and took a bank day. And Jim and I, we got out around here cleaning people's driveways out, whatever all day.
We used to throw
And
oil
then
on
Elder
the road.
Morgan called me about 3 o'clock. And he said, "Bob, we got to get the snow off of the youth room up here." So the ceiling said it's sagging in here, where that snow, it slid off of the high part of the church.
All right.
So Jim and I, we got ready and we went up there. And man, I'm telling you, I don't know how many tons of snow we took off of that roof. George Parsley, instead of going down the ladder, he just jumped off in the snow whenever he got ready to go off the roof. And that's when I pulled a muscle in my side. I know that's when it happened. I never did have problems there before. And that muscle has bothered me ever since.
Is that right?
That was the worst snow and the deepest snow. And they didn't see, that was on Friday. And we didn't go up to the church. It was Sunday afternoon. We heard...
Nobody was moving around
No,
anyway.
no, they wasn't. And so, it was about 3 o'clock, or no, about 2 o'clock. I heard, I was out here in the driveway, still cleaning a little bit, and I sort of heard this roar coming around the road. And I thought, well, they've got a grader on the road. Sure enough, here come one of Order and Haynes paving contractors.
They had them helping.
They had them
Trying to
cleaning
dig
roads
everybody
too.
out.
Yeah, everything was tied up.
Well, I can imagine.
And when you started around the road, see them graders just made one swath. I mean, that was it, just enough to.
Oh, I remember. The thing that was fun for us is like they'd make us swap down, and you'd have a hill of snow just to the side, and we'd use that bank sleds up against it coming down like a racetrack.
When I started around the road, if there was a car coming this way, I just had to plow right into the snow and stop until they got by.
And back out.
And then I'd back out and take off
Keep on
again.
going.
Yep.
All right, hottest. What was your hottest memory?
Hottest.
Anything hot? Maybe not. Now, when you were a kid, if you think of the hot, but when you were a kid, you used to tell us about cold up there in South Charleston and Charleston area, and that where did the water ever freeze on the Canal River?
Oh yeah. But I can remember my dad tell about when they could take horses, walk across Canal River and all that.
Even
That was back in years ago.
yeah. So
But all I ever seen was just a skim of ice.
yeah.
You couldn't walk across it.
So Grandpa Hayes was from Charleston too, or where was he from originally?
He was originally from Leatherwood.
Leatherwood, West Virginia. Is that
Yeah,
West Virginia?
that's West Virginia. You go to Clendenin, you turn right. You go over in Clendenin, you turn right, and you go back down around in that part of the country somewhere.
Okay.
They call Leatherwood.
And then you've got where was Mama Hayes?
She was from Callenton. That's up there above Montgomery.
Yeah. Did you ever hear how they met, or how did they ever meet?
No.
Never knew anything about that. And then, now let's see. Cold though. I mean, you had to get coal off the railroad car, right? Or you do that once in a while?
Yeah, we do that once in a while. Everybody did it back then. It wasn't nothing really to brag about. It was pretty dangerous.
Because
But,
it was
it
actually
was dirt.
moving, wasn't it?
It was right at the end of the Depression, and people just did anything to survive, you know.
Right.
Back then, they burnt coal right in the city, in their fireplaces, all that.
Yeah. How about work experience? Any favorite memory at work?
Oh, there's a lot
A
of
lot of memories. 42 years, you got to have a
Oh, there's a lot of them. I wouldn't know where to begin there.
That was pretty good. And you worked, what jobs did you actually work there? What did you do at the plant?
Well,
I know you were a
when I
painter.
hard in, it was supposed to have been temporary. I was 17, so when school started that fall, our boss come around and told us to turn in our passes to the guard as we went out. Well, there was about 3 of us, or 4, that decided that they wanted to stay there and work, if we could. So we didn't turn our pass in. And on Monday morning, we was in the shop with our work clothes on and everything, like we was ready to go to work. Foreman come out there and he wanted to know what we was doing there. We told him, we decided to come back, we wanted to work. He said, well, said, I can't let you go out and work yet. Said, you'll have to see Mr. Giles, that was the department head. So he sent us over to see him. And he said, well, I can't do anything, said, to send you down to the maintenance superintendent. So we went down to see Mr. King. And he told us, he said, well, he said, I'll have to check it out. He said, you guys go on out on the job today, come back tomorrow, and come see me here at about 1 o'clock. So we went back down the next day at 1 o'clock, and he said, well, he said, now you can stay here and work, but said you cannot, the insurance will not cover you inside of any unit until you're 18. But we got a lot of guardhouses and restrooms and stuff like that, you know, to paint.
Right.
So, but we was outside an awful lot too.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So for the most part, for the 42 years you painted, and then you did...
So from 1945 until 1954, I believe it was, I was in the paint gang and I handled the paintbrush and the spray gun and all the goodies that go with it. And then I went, I was recommended for an inspecting job. So that's when I went to inspecting, looking after paint contractors.
Paint contractor.
And I did that for, I don't know just exactly how many years I did do that. Before I went to the office. Then finally I had to start doing all the book work. And I had to do all the cost plus work. So I was out in the field about 2 or 3 days a week. And then I was in the office maybe 2 or 3 days a week. And then I had to go to the main office, and I had to work down there about 4 or 5 months one time. And then back out of there, back to inspecting again. And then probably, I don't know, it must have been 3 or 4 years before I retired, I went back on my tools, back in the shop, because I had an opportunity to go in there if I wanted to. Things was getting so complicated out in the field with new department heads and everything.
A little easier to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where I was at when I retired.
Right. Then you had the 70th birthday last weekend.
Yeah.
Yep, 1928 you were born.
Yeah.
All right, let's see if there's anything else. Were you ever sick?
Oh yeah, I had the flu a time or two when I was. That's the reason I missed probably
Missed
about
work
8
some.
months.
And let's see, I'm trying to think of anything else that would be...
Yeah, we pretty well covered everything.
We've done pretty good. I appreciate your time.
Where's your mother at? Where'd she go?
I don't know, she's hiding in the kitchen, I think, because we got the video camera. I think.
Well, where would she have a camera at in there?
No, she doesn't have it. She can probably see it going. She may be on the phone. I don't even know. Well, the sun's getting ready to drop here in a few minutes over the hill across the way.
Yeah.
People have been mowing, and so have we.
That
today.
smoke you see, that's smog. Now they say that's coming from them fires in Mexico.
It's coming this far up.
That's what they say, yeah.
I haven't even noticed it down in Tennessee that much. But it might be more here coming up with the Gulf Stream than even
Could
hitting
be,
us.
yeah.
Maybe doing it.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, anything else you think of?
Yeah.
Covered it pretty good?
Held it pretty good.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and we'll pause this thing down then. Ready?
There's not a real good window just past the big trees. And we're going into Chestnut Ridge Estates. Used to ride horses up through here. And used to play in this field. And you can look across the way here. And you can see Jim and Dorothy's house back there. And some of the lively houses down there. And then you can step to the side. And see the top of the Hayes house right there. Heading toward the big curve now. Back toward the Poly Farm, Piney Knob. Oops. lot of construction going on your property. There's the Mercedes Volvo dealership in Applebee's. Our toll bridge used to go this way to school.